Our last but not the least speaker, Dr. Samuel Mugasi. Can you tell us some of the collaborations, partnership, and investments the organization has gotten from?
Before I go into that, I would like to point out two key things that I think are critical for our government, but also our economy. In the morning, one of the panelists talked about Africa sitting on 60% of the arable land of the whole world. Now, despite that huge potential, Africa accounts for only 4% of the agricultural trade in agriculture, but also imports food worth almost $35 billion every year. So that's the dilemma we find ourselves in. Africa sitting on 60% of the arable land of the world, but being a net food importer. Now, what is the problem? If you come back to Uganda, yes, Uganda is a net food exporter, but again, utilizing only about 35% of our arable land. So I would like to focus on 2 points. One, in Uganda, if you'd like to invest in Uganda now, we would like to invite you to invest in fertilizers. Sorry, Mr. Moderator, for diverting a bit. Because one of the problems Africa faces is low fertilizer use. Because we have been singing in Africa, including Uganda, which is even in our national anthem, that our soils are fertile, which is no longer the case. Our soils are heavily degraded, and that is why productivity in Africa is extremely low. Therefore, if you'd like me to talk about a possible partnership in Uganda, is to partner in fertilizer production. Because we import the bulk of fertilizers from China, from Russia. Therefore, fertilizer production is an area of interest. To put it into context, the recommended application rate of fertilizers across, at least for Africa, is 20 kilograms per acre per year. Uganda is only applying 2 kilograms per hectare, and that is why our production is declining. Therefore, if there are any investors, you have your money, one of the areas to invest in is fertilizer production, and you'll be able to capture the entire market in the region, the 8 countries that have been talked about. That's area number one. Area number two is value addition. Indeed, one of the reasons why Africa accounts for only 4% of the agricultural trade globally is because of no value addition. We export most of our products raw, in raw form. You will be surprised to learn that some of the European countries are the biggest and the highest value out of our products, like coffee. So if you want to invest in Uganda, there are several value chains you can think about. Coffee is one of them, as Honorable Rukari has mentioned. Coffee. We have tea. And for tea, in particular, I would interest you in establishing an auction in Kampala. Because the bulk of our tea in Uganda is exported through the auction in Mombasa. And we're not getting a good price. So if you're talking of possible partnerships, we would like to interest any investor to establish an auction for tea in Kampala. And if you set up that auction center for tea in Kampala, then you're able to be, the tea coming from Rwanda, the tea coming from Burundi and Uganda can be exported through the Ugandan auction to the rest of the world. So that's another area of huge interest that you can think about as an investor in Uganda. The other area is grain and milk. So there are the two specific areas I would encourage investors is fertilizer and value addition. And those would go a long way in creating jobs, but also expanding our economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and a round of applause for Dr. Samuel Mugasi. You've pointed out certain areas as an advisor. How about the situation where an investor comes to invest in agriculture and has an interest in a different area from what you've pointed out? How do they go about that? Pardon? If an investor is willing to invest in a different area from the 2 or 3 you've mentioned, how do they go about that?
Yeah, I think in the morning, my other senior colleagues elaborated very, very well on the steps for investing in Uganda. So if you're interested, you can be supported right from acquisition of land. There are processes. You can be supported in tax waivers. And all those processes right from acquiring land, helping you, advising you on the best value chains to invest in. We can give information to make sure to invest your money in the right place. And as I have mentioned, if you come, we have a range. Agriculture in Uganda is such a wide sector, right from livestock to crops, value addition, name them. So we have a catalog of all these investments where we have done feasibility studies, where we have data and information on the profitability and on the markets. So we have a lot of information that we can share with you across all the value chains, so that you don't waste time, so that you can come straight and invest with information available to you and to make sure that you get your return on investment. In the morning, our PSST mentioned that Uganda has one of the highest returns on investment in the world. So agriculture is one of those areas you can think about, and the value chains are quite numerous, and you can approach us for more information. Thank you. Ironically, we talk about Uganda as a pearl of Africa. So why should the pearl of Africa be crying for fertilizers? It is because of years of degradation, climate change, etc. So come to Uganda, invest in 2 areas. Make for us fertilizers, but also make fertilizers for the whole region. The market is open, but also value addition. Those 2 areas, you will make your money and you will thank me.
Fertilizer and value addition. Thank you very much, and pass the mic to the right.